Why, hello, folks. We are back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I had to run through a couple things. We are now here to watch Crowd Control take on their opponents, the team of Tail Whip, Mr. Caridian, joining us in place of the person who left. I'll take mid, Microscopic Rick, in Tactical Tactics on the Int squad. Joining me today is Mr. Matthias. Here, has not been here, I believe, all season, so it's good to see you, man. How are
Good
you?
to see you. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to seeing some good League of Legends tonight. Always looking to prove himself as the best jungler in TCL to back up his trash talk. So I'd like to see him, match it. And
We're talking about bully, right?
yeah. That's what he said. But and then Caridian's also looking to prove himself as the young blood new captain. I mean, he's been here before, but you get what I'm saying.
He is. Well, it was really interesting, and honestly, I have to give credit to a lot of the people in the league who, because hey, it's a bit of competitive, like potential competitive integrity thing. It's like, hey, they came in, they had one jungler, someone had to replace that person. We did the best finding someone. But there's no doubt there's like a lot more skill there. Now they haven't had time to play together, so every time they're playing, it's pretty much solo queue. But like, I think everyone was really nice in allowing Crittian to come play because they just looked at it and said, hey, it's not fun for this team. It's not particularly fair for them. We're all here for fun. And ultimately, he showed up and had a really, really fun week to watch last week, rather. I'm personally excited to see where this team goes. And I do think that they're not necessarily going to be a last place type team anymore. I'm not going to say they're the best because they ain't the one who's undefeated, but I will say I'm excited to watch them. Who are you
For sure,
excited to
for
watch?
sure. I'm just excited to see maybe some spicy picks today. But we're in draft right now, right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you are right. We are in draft. Most notably the Udyr band, and I actually don't know who that's been. I mean, I have to assume that's from Bully, but I haven't been watching him over the last week. Um,
Um,
that is absolutely a new band, especially for all the stuff that he's been like showing that he wants to play. The only thing that I think that I know going into this is that the crowd control team is probably going to be looking to play something relatively non-standard. That is my take. Just for those of you who don't know, they are currently I guess fully defeated as opposed to undefeated. They have not yet won, but I think everyone who knows all these players knows they have something else inside that's got to pop out at some point, and I think they're still trying to find their way with this whole team. So I'm thinking that we're going to see something a little non-standard and maybe
ooh,
not traditional. Oh, that's that. Yeah, if you know Caridian, that Lily is like his
yeah.
favorite champ. So
Lily
yeah.
is my favorite champ too. I love to see it. I'm looking for some good gameplay tonight. Now that's what I'm looking forward to. Looks like standard picks though. Tactics on Thresh, Rudy on Amumu, Bully on probably Volibear. I would assume that's not going to draws. And then the standard bands of LeBlanc and Seraphine, the token bands. But yeah, interesting draft so far.
Yeah, it is. It is funny. I think of Lily and I think of the two camp Raptors, the Raptors meme from last season.
Mm, the
Those who
classic.
know it. Yeah, those who know it definitely know it. But yeah, I think you're right. That Volibear does have to be going to Mr. Bully. What I'm hoping for is control to pick some kind of AD, and I have a feeling we could get. Oh, okay. Well, I've been proven wrong. I thought that maybe we would see a non-standard AP bot lane.
Mm.
Um, out of crowd control here, but it looks like that's not the case.
Yeah, I really want to highlight this mid matchup. It's control versus I'll take mid. As you may or may not know, they live together and they are rivals. They've been in TCL both together and have clashed many times and argue over who is the better mid laner. So it'll be good to see.
That's a great way to describe their relationship. They they live together and they're rivals. They are a couple as well.
Yeah, and a
Um,
couple.
most notably, which just adds to the fun part. Yeah, I will say this is actually traditionally one of the most fun rivalries to watch. Obviously, I'll take mid, known as the assassin player who is just kind of balls to the wall all points in time. Control can play a little bit of everything. He's a little bit safer and more of a kind of like likes to play a lot of mages that can scale into late game. I don't know what we're going to get from him here, but I do kind of hope it's something that will synergize with the Amumu and with the Misfortune. That would make me really happy.
Yeah, I'm really liking these bands. We're seeing a lot of focus on the mid lane now with Syndra, LeBlanc, Akali, and Silas banned out. So I feel like the pool's kind of been slimmed down. So I'm interested to see what we're going to be looking at. Also, I'm really interested to see what Jaws is going to be playing because the team it has a bit of damage now, but like I'm wondering if he's going to play a kind of bully top like a Renekton or a Cannon maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what he's planning. Little Birdie told me there's a possibility. Well, here I'll wait till
Oh,
we see the
well, I
picks.
think we see it.
Okay, yeah, the Gragas. I thought that we might have seen in Aatrox, that had been talked about, and he's definitely shown it on his OPGG. The Gragas is by far his favorite pick so far, though. It's what he's been showing in pretty much all of his games. He seems to think it'll play really well into most matchups. I will say though that Mundo does look like a really good pick, and that's one of Microscopic Rick's favorite. That's the only reason I wouldn't have liked. I hope he locks this. Yeah, that's the only reason I necessarily wouldn't have I wouldn't have loved blind picking the Gragas because I think that Mundo should just have a really easy time into this. So we'll see. He's obviously not picking it for for the lane. I think that's not what he's confused about
Oh, for sure,
or
for sure.
concerned about rather.
Pretty standard picks so far, in all honesty. Nothing, super standout. I'm happy to see the Lilia. I believe the matchup is Lilia favored in the jungle, but Volibear can win it early, I want to say.
This is so the Echo, which is the traditional one of I'll Take Mid's favorite assassins. Everyone knows him for his Diana, his Echo. He plays a little bit of Zed, Fizz, and then he throws like the Nico in there every so often. Interestingly, how do you think that fits into this team comp? Because that's the only thing that I'm a little bit questionable about right
Um,
now.
I mean, there's some aspects of pick right here. You hit the Ash arrow, you have a Lily asleep, and then the Echo can kind of just go in. You give him
Wait,
a window. And that is going to be either Renekton mid or Renekton top.
wait,
Something
is that a
spicy here.
control Renekton? Are they gonna swap?
I mean, I feel like it could really go either way. Like you said, Jaws has been enjoying that, but he's also a known Renekton player. And
No
Control will
way.
play whatever.
If this is a control Renekton, I'm gonna be freaking mind blown. Okay, you all know control. All the people watching right now, this is definitely not what I would have expected. The rulebook I believe does say you have to have traded
By 30
uh
seconds.
by 20 seconds. I think is what they said. So they can't like last second swap it right here. So yeah, assuming they're following the rulebook, and we're gonna have another problem if they ain't. Yeah, this is a control Renekton. That is really exciting. I want to see exactly how this goes. Oh wow.
I do have to note that Crowd Control's team seems very, AD heavy, depending on what Jaws builds, whether it is full damage or tank. And then the Inting Toasters looks, fairly AP heavy. Mundo's going to deal magic damage, Lilia's going to deal magic, Echo's going to deal magic. So we're going to have to see if Tailip can step it up and actually do enough damage for his team.
Yeah, well, so the thing is so basically the way that Jaws typically builds is he will go whatever the big slowy one is. The mage mythic. Forget the name of
Frost?
that. Everfrost? Yeah, yeah. So he'll go that and then he'll typically build tank after that. And so we might see a Frozen Heart. We will typically see a Spirit Visage. And then he'll just kind of build to be that kind of frontline tank. I think the problem that they're going to run into though is that he kind of does have to be an AP carry. Like otherwise, you've just got like a Volibear and a Renekton in the middle of the fight, and the only person doing damage is AI box. So yeah, well, all I'm going to say is this team comp is going to scale really poorly. And if basically if I'm inting Toasters Inc. right now, I'm looking to just like let this game chill for a little while. By the end of the way, you're gonna have an Ash, you're gonna have an Echo who's able to get in and kill the Misfortune. If the Misfortune dies, it's kind of the end. So I
Yeah,
don't
it's,
know.
it's,
That's my
it's really
take.
all of it. I mean, they do have the potential of the Wombo. They have the Amumu ult. They have the Gragas cast. They have the Misfortune ult. So they have ways in, but we're going to have to see how it pans out in team fights. But that Mundo, I feel like, is going to be unkillable if you don't have magic damage. Like, he can just build a decent chunk of armor, and he'll just be sitting on you.
Yeah, that he will be. Well, so it is Tiny Rick, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think the thing about Tiny Rick is that most of us have watched him, and he doesn't typically have the strongest showings, right? And so at this point, like it really does come down to how well he plays, and especially with Caridian, who's just incredibly strong. We need Tiny Rick to not, frankly, get his butt kicked top lane. We need him to show up. He needs to be in the fight. He needs to be able to tank all this damage, like the initial really upfront damage that comes from the Volibear, the Renekton, etc. He needs to be that tank for the team. Everything else, I think, comes together for this comp as long as he could be that.
Yeah, the Inting Toasters are fairly squishy other than him. So as long as he can soak up damage and Tactics can get a little bit in there, like, they have damage. It's just, can they live long enough to apply it through Misfortune ult? Also to note, they're coming up on the line. You know, they're thirsty for their wins with Caridian. And if they win this match and the next match, you know, there actually is a scenario where they come in second place.
Wait, what?
If your team loses to Tony's team and they win their next two matches, I believe it creates a circle of suck.
Wait, okay, I kind of have to look into this right now. Why do we have to lose?
Because Tony's team needs 3 wins as well to enter the circle of suck and have the tiebreakers correctly.
Oh, well. So they would all end 3-2.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's a very theoretical situation,
yeah,
but
okay.
it's interesting to theorize, you know, that this team
it is so theoretical that I can't even truly comprehend it, but
that's because you can't comprehend yourself losing. But
well, I mean, hey, stats show one thing, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. We haven't lost a game
with Caridian. They've looked good, so it's possible, you know. And I'd like to see that dream realized.
It is, and I will say, the reality is, I will say that I am happy that we didn't need to play them with Caridian. He just brings a completely different dynamic to that team. It's not even the same thing, right? He's a great player, but he's also hyper aggressive, right? And he just wants to gank and gank and gank and show up and make plays. Like, I remember TCL Season 1, one of the first games, he was on Lee Sin, and he made some absolutely insane ward kick that like made, like, that's what he does. Right now, he doesn't necessarily win a lot of games, but you know,
yeah,
we got some dancing in the mid lane.
Yep, some good old game. I'm really curious how this Renekton will turn out.
What Renekton skin is that?
Is that a project Renekton?
Oh, that was a flash from Tactics.
All right, down a sub.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Tactics comes, and I just don't know exactly what they thought would have happened if he hit that flash. Like, what was the plan?
Let's see. Can we see what Echo has scaled level 1? Because, you know, maybe there's some follow-up, but I think the best case scenario is you just run Control's flash, but I don't really think you're going to be killing the Renekton there.
Yeah, he scaled the Time Winder, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, let's say you had a 3v1.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any good way to.
Looks like we have a double topside start. Both probably looking to play down into their bottom lanes. I'd actually, you know, kind of like to see some top lane focus this game. That's just me, because I feel like, actually some action.
We do.
A little bit of trade.
Yeah,
but I feel like...
Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, I feel like AI Box and Rudy's goal isn't necessarily going to be to hard stomp this lane. It's going to be to neutralize, because Caleb typically plays passive and will let you scale, you know, to an extent. But like, trying to win against them is a difficult task, I believe. So I think they should just try to kind of go even in that lane and maybe just leave it alone. And at that point, your goal is to get either control ahead or help Musical Jaws win that matchup so that Microscopic Rick cannot get fed and be that tank he needs to be.
Yeah, I think you're right about this. And the big thing that I'm looking for is in this bot lane right here. As I've kind of always said, we need to watch AI Box. Oh, potential hook come through. We need AI Box not to get bullied out of lane, and he actually needs to scale to the late game, especially in this comp where, like, he is kind of a solo damage carry. I get very concerned watching the way that they've drafted this. Again, if he makes it out of lane, then life is good. Right? Everyone's happy. But if he doesn't, then this is a really, really scary scenario. So I think that despite everything that could be happening in every other lane, the thing that we're going to have to be watching is what happens in the spot lane.
For sure. It's very hinged on that. But I think it can just go kind of smoothly. Hopefully. He has Cleanse, so he's ready for the hook. Actually, both ADs have Cleanse. They're prepped for that. Caridian near bottom. Maybe looking to just get a crab. But he's in the neighborhood. Okay. Potential scrap. Bully's gonna... ooh, he does not spot out Caridian right there. Okay. And maybe we see a gank here.
Oh, that was muted again.
Just walking by.
I gotta chill off this mute button right here.
Yeah. But, I mean, Caridian's getting the double crab. He is cleared more. He's going to have a better recall. We're gonna have to see how that turns out.
Yeah, it sure is. Most notably, Reform Bully has actually been able to find himself. Yeah, sorry. If we quickly move towards this top lane, I just do want to point out really quickly, Jaws is loving playing this first strike Gragas top. It's like his favorite thing, and I actually understand it. My problem though is you get into the state of the lane where the Muno has all this healing and the Gragas runs out of mana really fast. So like, I don't know. I'm very curious to watch exactly how this goes. I think at some point he does scale and he gets a bunch of gold and he gets to be this big fat tank, but until then, I don't know. I don't know if I'm entirely convinced by it.
So to note Caridian's pathing here, he skipped his Krugs in order to get the double crab on Reformed Bully, and now he's going for them, but he'd have to walk a long way to get back to his other half of the respawning jungle. So I'm curious if he leads into a gank right after this, because that seems like the best path to me.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like an option for him right here. Interestingly, in the mid lane, and Echo did get that wave pushed in, it is kind of going how we expect it to. I will note that, though, right now, that the Echo actually does have a little bit of priority. Caridian coming in for a gank, I don't think this is going to turn into anything. He does end up hitting the, I believe it's called the Swirled Seed.
Yeah, I think that's right. Or the bowling ball, you know.
The bowling ball, yeah, I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
The thing with the Lilia is it doesn't fit his kind of typical same realm of champions who like those really, really strong early ganks. Like Lilia just wants to farm and kind of get into the enemy's jungle.
Get to 6, maybe fight them in a 1v1. You know, not necessarily, you know, be on the lanes. Let's see. To note, we have a distinct CS advantage for control right now, up by about 10. That's about the gold lead. Both teams pretty similar, and Reform Bully is on the dragon.
Well, it is kind of like what they used to say, and I don't actually think this is true about Jace anymore, but it's what they used to say about Jace in Pro Play, which is like, hey, if you're not up 20 CS, then you've lost the lane, right? Like, that's the whole point of the Renekton. The Renekton is going to hard fall off, and so, you know, in this position, even if it is just 1 or 2 waves, I still think that I'll take mid is going to be a little more useful by the end of the game, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, I mean, lane's going about as expected. You know? Both melee matchups, so you know, no poke necessarily coming out too much from Otta's.
No, it's not. And if we take the camera back to the bot lane right here, we're seeing a bit of a CS lead show up. Well, no, actually,
they're going to catch this wave right here.
I was just saying, once they catch it, it's pretty much even. Again, this is great for the Misfortune as long as he can keep his gold up. You know, it's been funny with AI Box because I think a lot of people like. You know, he was kind of technically, via the infamous A-Barn spreadsheet, at the very bottom of the rankings. And so he wasn't picked last, IREP was. And I think that was a pretty silly decision based on what's found out. But I think that he had a pretty low draft stock for AI Box. And I think the thing with him is, like, we see these amazing performances from him, like that Zaya game that we all saw where he did, like, 65k damage in, like, a 40-minute game. And then we see the games where he's just not able to make any kind of impact at all. And the question is, you know, is it about which AI box shows up? Is it about how the lane goes? You know, I think there's a few theories, but again, they don't have a choice this game.
But
he shows up and they lose.
It's been a slow game other than, you know, the Drake take. Both junglers kind of playing it slow, which I find is interesting because I feel like Volibear is kind of a ganking jungle. You know, you want to do something with it because you're not going to outclear the Lilia.
Yeah, he's pretty ganky. The only question though is like who's he gonna gank before 6, right? Like I guess he could try to get onto bot lane.
I feel like Echo would be the optimal choice, but pre-6, it's too late now. You know, before he has the ult, you have Renekton who can flash in, stun. Like I feel like there's follow-up there. But
yeah, no, you're right. That's a really good point, and interesting to see. We have not seen him go for it. Obviously, the lane state, like if we've watched him run around, the lane state hasn't really been in a position where. He's been able to, but yeah, I would like to see him. The thing is like, again, as we said, if mid lane does not work out for control,
it just falls off.
Nothing. Yeah, they've got nothing. Ooh. Oh, the Asher comes down and it's gonna miss. The flash still comes out early. The flash is out, and ultimately nothing's gonna happen. Really unfortunate. Arrow. Oh, the musical Jaws goes in. He wants the 1v1, but the ult has been popped by Microscopic Rick. Both players dancing back and forth, trying to understand who actually wants something right here. And I think they're all just going to walk away from it. Finally, some action!
But Reform Bully was able to see the gank down in bottom lane and realize he has free leeway to this Rip Girl, so he's just going to pick this up for free. He's picking up objectives left and right, which, you know, is respectable. No ganks, but objectives are always good.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if you get to to 4 objectives at this point. Like, yeah, you have a comp that falls off. On the other hand, things like Herald get you those gold leads. They're going to create priorities for things like dragons. At the end of the day, Dragon Soul's a dragons. So
Yeah, it's looking
I
like he's
respect
going
the
to drop a
strategy.
top. And, oh, maybe not.
Oh, we're going to see the gank. Finally, Reform Bullies. First gank right here. Doesn't realize that he's warded out. Oh, meanwhile, the sleep has come through on Control. Control ults. The alt dominance has come through, and it's going to be enough damage. The tick does come through. Caridian with the first gank, first blood. Great play by him.
Beautiful. And I mean, that's who you want to get gold on, is Caridian, and I'll take mid. You know, tail up too, but you're happy to get it on them.
No, 100%. That's exactly what I want to say. Again, the thing with Caridian, anyone who knows these two players, he and I'll take mid really good friends. Your expectation when you're playing against these guys, they are 100% totally going to be ganking mid lane every single time, right? And as we said, I mean, Control and I'll take mid, I think, are playing from the same room, by the way, really relevant. So, like, as Mr. Bush League points out, they're probably yelling at each other, hooting and hollering.
For sure.
Yeah, I wasn't going to cast that one. Tiny Rick, I love the aggression, but there's no way that was going to turn into a kill.
I'd like to see the Rift Herald drop either bottom or mid, because I feel like that's really where you would need your gold.
I think it looks
like mid. Yeah, it looks like for a second he was thinking about dropping it behind Microscopic Rick's tower and maybe doing a dive, but decided not to.
Yeah, the Renekton just has to find a way to get huge. That's the only real win condition right here. He is coming down the roam and he just snopes back over the wall. He's like, I've been caught. I'm out. That was great.
I would like to see some skill shots hit out of this, the Inting Toaster's bottom lane, you know. A few missed arrows, a few missed hooks. So, I mean, I'm looking for some action. They have the potential to get in there. You know, flashes are back up, abilities are back up. I want to see some blood.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I will say that Ash arrow, the Enchanted Crystal arrow that was missed effectively almost point blank. Maybe that's one of those things where you get cold hands at the start of the game. I know whenever I play, I get a little bit nervous. You know, I don't know why. It just is what it is. Whenever you're playing, you know, under the Friday night lights, you get a little bit of that, and I think that's what we just saw from Tail Whip. But hopefully next time he'll be prepared for it.
So I just noticed this. I believe you said you were believing it was going to be an Everfrost on the Gragas. Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've watched him. Oh, right here. Rudy goes in, doesn't realize that there's Caridian there. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you can't miss that one. All the ults come down. A ton of damage back on the MF. A fantastic counter ult there from a move. Now, AA Box now wants it. He's flashed in. There's 3 versus 2. Very low people. Reform Bully really, really wants this. He's going to find one. He's going to find 2. The gank does come in from Control, who's made his way bot lane. Is the stun going to happen? The stun is there. The ult will get him back out. And ultimately, 2 people are going to walk away from both teams.
Yeah, a solid 2 for 2. Let's see, where did the gold end up? We got a kill on the Echo and a kill on Tailwind. That's where you want it. Unfortunately, Fox did not pick any up, and it was Bully who received them. Let's see. But to note what I was going to talk about.
Oh, Control flashes in. Oh, Caridian doesn't realize that he's recalling in the bush. He takes a little focus away, and ultimately Control's going to pick up a kill that he probably didn't deserve.
Oh yeah, he's getting the gold that he's wanting now. But I was gonna say, I believe Jaws has a Hextech alternator, and I don't think that goes into Everfrost. So maybe we're seeing a either a Ludens, or right now that's not a Ludens, that's a
Protobelt?
Protobelt or a Night Harvester, right?
Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm really curious. Someone must have. Oh yeah, we had a solo kill. What the hell happened? Wow. Box has been taken down, presumably from I'll Take Mid, who I believe didn't have ult, so I'm really questionable how he ended up dying to that. But, well, it is what it is. Box has just died for the second time. And unfortunately, he didn't have Flash, which clearly must have been a part of it.
He's also not here for this.
Reform Bully, yeah, both the hook, the flay, Tailwhip's Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they're just trying to get this Herald off of their tower. But yeah, you got 2 pretty tanky boys. Caridian does come in to help, but it's not going to make a difference.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of this Herald. Because AI Box was dead, he is not picking up any of that point gold. He's not getting on the people you needed to be on. It wasn't mid, it didn't go to box. And yeah, just not a huge fan of that Herald.
Well, right, that's my thing is like, and I get it, this can happen when things aren't necessarily going well. But that's not like, they're not sitting here talking about like, hey, what's the best thing for the team? right? Box is getting a little bit behind. He used his flash
Oh,
aggressively.
looks like something happens bottom lane.
Yep. Oh, something is happening. No, ultimately
Just
nothing going.
all right.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, again, the thing I'm concerned about is like AI Box shouldn't have used his flash. Admittedly, oh, we do have a fight coming through the mid lane. These guys, yeah, they're gonna decide not to follow it. Oh, Reform Bully getting caught out, not realizing that Caridian is there.
right.
I think that they could have stayed on that.
Not an alt angle, I guess. Could have gotten it. But yeah. Bully's team is stacking Drakes. You know, that is a good win cut. It is Cloud Soul. Take that how you will. But,
Yeah, I don't like seeing Box. I mean, Box is flashless. He's, you know, gonna be. He probably should have had 20 more farm at this point, just given how the early lane went and the lack of pressure until that first gank, and he ended up dying twice. The Ashe is going to be a little bit bigger. This Echo is going to be massive. And again, you know, the idea of the team comp's great, and hopefully Control can get a stun onto the Echo before he jumps through. But yeah, I'm getting a little concerned because if AI Bucks does not carry this game, I don't know who's going to.
yeah, that Echo's looking terrifying. 201 already has his Proto Belt. We have a Night Harvester coming through for the Musical Jaws, and a Sunfire Cape coming out for Bully.
In the thing, I've played a lot against Altec Mid and his assassins. You got to be really careful, man. Oh, Rudy with the flash forward. The ult's going to come through. Bullet time, getting as much damage as possible. A great hook and a block from Tactics. A huge block. Oh my god, what an incredible play. Tactical Tactics gets him out with the hourglass and then steps in front of that. The hook from Rudy on the Amumu. What an incredible Thresh play. Meanwhile, we're going up. The game does not stop. Control's going in. There's a battle for this Herald, and who's going to take it? I don't even see because I can't see the notification right here. Reform Bully ultimately able to pick up that kill, and they're going to be chasing both Outtake Mid and Microscopic Rick, and Microscopic Rick is just going to have to limp away, unable to help his friends. Control still does have a stun onto it. They might actually go for this. Bully wants it. Control does not. They don't know what to do right here. Rick is just sitting awkwardly in the middle of all these people. There might even be a dive angle right here.
But man, huge play for Crowd Control. Bully is 4-0 now. He's looking to step up his performance. Like I said, he says he thinks he's the best jungler. And, you know, he's showing a little bit of that right now.
Yeah, Musical Jaws ultimately does pick it up. And that was absolutely huge. I loved seeing that from Reform Bully, understanding what happened bot lane. I do have to go back and call out that play from Tactical Tactics. That's going in the end of season montage. One of the better Thresh plays that we've seen. And just the awareness to step in front of the Amumu Q right in front of the low health tail whip, get the kill onto him, and then he hits the hook at the very end after making all those plays onto AI Box, which would have meant his death if not for the cleanse. So that was a like, yeah, I mean, 1 versus 9 Smurf, you know, supports a lame role, but that did make it look pretty cool.
We're seeing a shield bow out of Tailwhip. He seems to understand that he has a decent chance of being go. He wants to survive. Not going to give him as much damage as I'm looking for as his Soul Team's AD source. But interesting choices.
Yeah, I'd be a little concerned about that too. I think that's... Oh, the flash gonna come forward! And he hits it! This man is smurfing! Onto AI Box. They're gonna get onto Rudy now, and there's 4 people down here. They're calling 4 bot. Where's my team? A fantastic play from Tactical Tactics, making Thresh look easy tonight.
Yeah. To note, there's now a gold lead for the Inting Toasters now, but not huge, and Crowd Control still has 2 Drakes and this Rift Herald on the Musical Jaws, which he can drop. So, honestly, it's still a super close game.
I don't like that 1v1 for the Gragas. I guess they both have healing up, but the Mundo over time definitely wins that. You know, obviously he's just looking for both of them looking for stacks on their runes, but you know, the Mundo's gonna eventually ult and turn that fight. Actually, Tiny Rick farming really well, by the way. I have to call that out as kind of the, like, you know, the lowest ranked player in the league, pretty much.
And basically tied for the most farm in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the man's looking really good, but this dragon has been started here. Int around the side, and there's a bit of a flank here from Outtake Mid, a lot of damage. Oh, and a fantastic hook again! Oh, man, and it doesn't matter. AI Box with the huge MF ult, doing so much damage. Oh, my God. Unfortunately, and again, I keep calling out this Thresh. Threaded the needle, hit AI Box at the very start of the fight. And honestly, if the rest of his team would have seen that he hit that hook and jumped on him, that would have been a dead AI box immediately. Unfortunately, no one could follow up the Thresh. MF with a huge ult onto Rudy's Curse of the Sad Mummy. Oh man, that was
that's what I like to see. And now you're starting to get some money on the people who need it. You have some on Control and you have some on AI box. So it's really good to see.
Yeah. I just wish the AI box wouldn't have had to die 4 times before that happened, but you know.
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, we're now threatening Soul Point. Baron's coming up in 40 seconds. Like, Caridian's been getting kills, but is he going to be getting objectives? Oh, and here's this Rift Herald.
The Rift Herald is huge. I will say, and we've not seen very clean execution right here, but you can't help but look at the fact that every single objective has gone over to crowd control. And so, whether there's some fantastic execution or not, what we're showing is at the end of the day, you're going to win with the soul. And by the way, you already stacked 3 dragons before 20 minutes. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, he's up in farm too against Lilia, who is going to be typically a power clearer. He's looking good right now.
By the way, Tranimal makes a great point in chat. He said neither top laner with TP came to the Soul Point Dragon. It's a little questionable, and specifically if I'm Jaws, I do want to point out that Microscopic Rick does not actually have any way to stop your teleport. And so you can just BM teleport in front of that man, but yeah, ultimately, they got better things to do.
I mean, it's going to be the same way back to stopping Microscopic Ricks, because with the Mundo passive, the first CC is going to negate it, so it's going to cost you both your body slam and your ult if you want to stop that teleport.
Oh, most notably, I'm going back and I'm looking. Jaws was pretty low. Yeah, I don't know. If I were him, I would have walked away. By the time that he was needed, he was pretty low, but it is what it is. It happens. And the 4v4 does go through.
Yeah, Baron up. Looking like we're getting some NA RAM.
My friend, about it. Yeah, I wouldn't hope for anything else. This is TCL. This is TCL basically Worlds. You could plant any of the. The best thing about TCL, actually, I do want to point out, is that you could put any TCL team in place of one of the Worlds teams for NA, and they would have done exactly as well as NA did in week 1.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's fair fact. It's fair. It's fair.
Fact. They would have ended at the same record. So maybe it's time that the amateur scene makes its way up. That's all I'm saying. It's time TCL starts getting taken seriously.
It's a little unfortunate to see that there still isn't a mythic out of Rudy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, he's.
I mean, it's not super necessary, but
right. Yeah, I will say like his ult. No matter what items he has, his ult is going to be the thing that either wins or loses these fights.
Kind of would like to have seen an even shroud out of him, because you're going to be going in, you're going to be ulting, and just to help give that extra burst of damage your team needs to just punch through the other enemy team comp with that ult and stuff.
In my expectation is that we're going to get an even shroud from him, just to buff up the misfortune damage here. Again, I'm curious. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, the Renekton has a lot of farm and he's got items. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I'm just a little concerned. What's going to happen in these fights? You still only have 1 carry. So, you get in, maybe you stun someone. It is very pick focused. I will say that does have to be it. If these teams get into traditional 5v5s, I think it's pretty clear that Int is going to be the one to walk away from those.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking for a gorgeous, 3-4-man sleep. That can just be game breaking if you get that off.
Hey man, it's Caridian. It's we've seen that stuff from him. Caridian, the man is he's all micro, no macro.
To note, Dragon is coming up in 1 minute, and that's going to be Soul Point. So hopefully we see some top laner TPs or them just being here.
Oh, Control getting gone on right here. A ton of damage back onto Altec mid, but Caridian has showed up on the side. And the Drowsy, the sleep will come down. They're going to get all of the damage. Altec mid uses the ult back. Control tries to get it. He just does not have enough juice.
He still lives for so long. Look at what he bought his team.
Yeah,
let's see if Inting Coasters find out.
but they're getting pincered right here. There is an Ashe, there is a Thresh, there's a Mundo around the top side. The Mundo is tanky enough to run in the middle of this team. Musical Jaw is trying to get in the way, but there is a passive onto this. And Reform Bully just diving, he doesn't want to get in the middle. The Amumu all comes down on both of the bot laners. Tactician able to flash away. Now Rudy's the one getting chased. Call an ambulance, but not for me. That's what we've got right here with this bot lane getting gone on. Now the Musical Jaws and Reform Bully on Microscopic Rick, they just don't have enough juice. Musical Jaws ultimately not able to participate. A great fight from Tailwhip, who
you
does
can't do this. You can't get aced in front of Baron. That costs you that's so costly. I don't know if Inting Toasters have the HP to take it, but man, getting caught in front of Baron.
Oh wait, Tiny Rick, no! Oh, he didn't let it stop aggroing him. So that was a fantastic play from Tailwhip and Tactics. Tactics taking a brunt of that, acting like the tank. Tailwhip perfectly kiting that out and just understanding exactly where he had to be positioned right there. Fantastic play from both of them, and this game is going back towards inside.
Yeah, looks like they realized that, we better stop Soul Point, better get it off the map. That's game ending. Baron we can technically play through. So, understandable trade, and maybe they didn't have the HP to do it.
Oh, maybe they didn't. Yeah, I understand the idea, and I'm glad that they found themselves on the Baron. Just unfortunately, I feel like the whole team saw the three people pincering them. It was a 3 versus 4, and all of them kind of went a different direction. Like we saw Tailwhip getting gone on by Reform Bully and Rudy on the bot side. We saw AI Box and the Musical Jaws, fighting Tiny Rick on the top side. Like no one was really doing the same thing.
Yeah, it was a really uncoordinated team fight from Crowd Control. I mean, they're still in the game. They're still on Soul Point, but it's looking harder now,
Oh, I think we're going to see Musicals. Oh, he doesn't actually go. I wonder if he was scared of... Yeah, he must have gotten pinged out right there. I think... I don't know. I think that was uncharacteristically safe from Altec Mid. The Altec Mid, I know, always takes that fight.
Yeah. All right, we've got our Prowler's Claw from Control now, so maybe he can get onto Tailwhip and just, one-shot him.
We do have the Prowler's Claw. Again,
Not the tankiest build.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess your job is to get on the Ashe, and I think the way this team comp is designed, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting onto Ashe.
You have to go through Microscopic Rick, you have to go through a sleep, and you have to go through Tactics with his Flay.
Oh, they're going to get off the Baron just by being seen. They really didn't want to throw that. Wow, okay. They didn't want to take the 50-50, and they're just going to back off of that.
They're showing the restraint.
Only was in position, yeah.
Yeah, they're showing the restraint that Crowd Control couldn't show,
Well,
they're unwilling to throw at Baron.
I was going to say, I do give them a little bit of credit for doing that. They're 5k gold up. One bad, stupid Baron play, and this is an even game again. So it's like, why is it worth it? Renekton coming top, though. This is looking like it's going to be a 1v1 on the top side right here. Oh, and the Echo does have to use his ultimate ability to get out of it. Yep. All right, so we say it was off camera, but the Echo ulted away.
Maybe a pick on Microscopic Rick.
Oh, Tiny Rick, I think he was looking for the flank. You are in bad position, my brethren. The ult comes down, the cast.
Great ult from
Listen, cast gets him back in. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Oh.
I love that. They're TPing just to make sure. Oh, but Jaws. You could have taken that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of posturing on this Baron.
There's lots of posturing. Oh man, this is a fun game. I can't help. I mean, Tiny Rick looked so good up until this point. What the hell were you doing, man? He was like at their base gate.
So I do want to note. Let's see. I believe that Crowd Control has only gotten a singular tower. So if they can knock these two outers out, that does a lot to equalize the gold lead. It really helps. And they're still up in Drakes. Like, they are not out of this game. I think they're about to pick up one now. That standing goal is worth a lot.
So you do have those moments in games like this where there's a lot of, banked gold is what I typically call it. Where it's like, yeah, they're down 5k, but if you look at the two extremely low towers that are sort of in the bank, the moment that they cash that out, suddenly we've got a game again.
Yeah, they've cut the gold lead from, what was it, 6k or 6k down to
5.5k to now pretty much 2.5k, 3k.
Yeah, way more doable.
Yeah, almost cut it in half right here. Oh, he wants it again. Oh, I'll take mid. So much damage, and he's smartly going by the ultimate to make sure that he can't immediately get up. And so much damage.
That did so much. I was really looking for Control to take it there. I thought he had the advantage. I was like, sure, Curidian's gonna come in. Maybe he kills mid, and then Curidian picks up Control. But no, they just pick him up straight up. No deaths.
Yeah, really smart void staff right there. And unfortunately, the ego play by Control, who really, really, really wanted that, notably did not have the dominance to be a part of that. Yeah,
Gorgeous arrow
Baron.
into hook.
Yeah, Baron just
Just
comes down,
no
turn it
chance of
right into
smiting
it.
that.
That was an unfortunate ego play by Control right there. Just not giving enough respect there, right there, to the Echo and where Caridian could be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was gorgeous peel off of the Baron for them. They stopped Bully with the arrow and to the immediate hook. No chance of smiting. Such a real clean Baron. You have 5 up. Like, I'm curious to see what they push for with this.
Yeah, me too. Most notably, in something that we haven't necessarily called out. So you were right about the Night Harvester, but this is actually going into full AP, which makes sense when you look at the comp, but it's just not typically a role that Jaws is expecting to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Also to note, soul point in 15 seconds. You know, like that's probably where our next fight is going to be.
Yeah, it is. And this is, I think, in the mid lane, what we're looking at is a very clear example of what happens when you try too hard to think about countering the opponent. Oh, the ult's going to come through so much. Rudy, no one has been seen right here. We've just got a bit of a cluster F right here. The MF on the backside, but seeing the Tiny Rick. Tiny Rick on a crazy flank right now. He's going to be in the middle of the back line. AI Bax has to go over the wall. Nobody can save him. Tiny Rick on the back end with a freaking beautiful flank right there on the Mundo, and he's staying on Reform Bully, who's already used the ult. What an excellent TP play. The MF is not able to even stick onto the ult. Tiny Rick with a huge play.
I mean, they have Baron, they have 5 up, Caridian's driving the Drake, they're going to be able to push both down bot and mid. Like, they're going to get so much off of it.
Yeah, I think this could have been game if everyone grouped mid. I think they're going to go and get 2 inhibs and then walk away.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, it's playing it safe. It's fair.
Yeah, they're not going to end. They're just going to go for this turret right there. I think, yeah, they could have done it, but whatever. As I said, at this point, that fight was turned into such a lead. Everyone was just totally all over the place right there. I mean, Mumu was caught up. They didn't realize that they had vision of it. The beginning of that fight was so chaotic. The Renekton didn't really do much, and ultimately the Misfortune wasn't able to do anything because of that flank. That's what happens when you have a single carry comp. At the end of the day.
I'm really curious if, you know, they maybe could have done the old switcheroo, trade Soul for Nexus. You know, they all had Baron, just push in while they're taking Soul.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we've got this next dragon here. Unfortunately, not the dragon that you probably want to see. That dragon is really, really good for Control and Reform Bully both, if they can get it. I will say it actually is a really strong dragon. Like, the differences between the win rates of all of the Dragon Souls is, like, very small. You know, people say, like, oh, it's just Cloud Soul, it's no big deal. It's something like getting... I think Hextech is the best one. And that one has like an 88% win rate, and the Cloud Soul is like an 85% win rate.
Wait, it's super good. I mean, and the Ninja Toasters wouldn't mind it either. It helps your Echo Assassinate, it helps your Mundo position, and it helps your Lilia get where she needs to go, you know? Like, clean up that team fight.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, this is going to be really spicy here. Tiny Rick, and again, if he can show that, if he could just do that one more time, this is going to be a very, very, very simple win right here for Int.
But yeah, this is do or die for crowd control. You know, if they lose one more fight, that's going to be game. And it looks like mid is, you know, pulling them off, getting them more towers. You know, being a split push threat.
It is funny watching how much better this team has gotten since Caridian. Because I don't think it's all him. I think everyone's actually firing on all cylinders.
Everyone's performing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But they have to make a play.
Oh, Control
right
wants
now.
so much damage on the take mid, and they're able to find him. He's too far. Icarus flew way too close to the sun on that one. There are a ton of minions right here that have to be cleared, though. But Control has just saved them the day and given them probably about 5 more minutes in this game.
Oh, for sure. I still don't even hate that from mid, though. You get both Nexus turrets. Like, that's incredibly strong.
It is. Reform Bully, they know they have to go in. A huge Curse of the Sand Mummy. Brilliant play by Rudy. And the Renekton is deep, and he wants to fight. Caridian does so much damage on the backline with the sleep, though. AI Box can't really do anything. He's trying his best to do the damage. Tail Whip still in, and Tail Whip able to come in, ultimately find the kill on the MF. A fantastic play, but Caridian wins the carry on that one, getting in the middle of the team and just doing so much damage. Oh my god.
Yeah, Bully and Rudy are going to be healing up in the night in their base, and they're going to be ready to fight again. So I think you get this tower, and you have to get out. Maybe they're staying for more though.
Oh, they are staying. Well, what are you going to do? You got reform Bully.
He's got a clear Nexus.
I was to say the problem is they're clearing base. If they were able to go on that fight, that would be one thing. But there's so much wave clear.
Triple inhib, no Nexus towers. That's not the situation you want it to be in. Baron's about to spawn, I believe. But...
I think I've got probably 10 ideas of how I would draft if I was this crowd control team. And I would say none of those things have been done here. I mean, it's like everything is just not, Like
I don't think Renekton does enough for control. He is your team's carry. You need to funnel him gold, and you didn't play around the Renekton early game. He just sat in lane, kind of, went a little bit up in CS, but didn't really do anything.
I want to know because this is a thing that happens in TCL. Like, there's a couple, brilliant theory crafters. I want to know who it is in chat who gave Control and Bully the idea to pick exactly what they picked this game, because I don't think it came from them. And yeah, I don't even think TJ would troll that hard, unless TJ might just want to watch the world burn.
I've been seeing him practice some 1v1s versus Control, teaching him some things. I don't know if this was one of the matches they practiced, but
yeah, no, it's just terrible. Again, I say this literally every time I'm on the cast. Everyone's gonna be pissed off by the end of this. Play simple League of Legends. Think about what you want to do. If you're Control, you're a Control mage player. That's what he does. I don't even know if that's... He doesn't really play Azir. He plays a lot of Victor, though. Like, I don't understand why he's not...
would have been gorgeous here.
That's what I'm saying.
That would give you the damage you needed. Oh, no, you're right. That's the pick we need to find.
But he's thinking too hard about what he wants to do versus I'll take mid. It's not going to matter. Yeah, the fight is going to go through. Musical Jaws, unfortunately, gets picked off right at the beginning of this. Now they just have to fight. Controls in the back line. He is getting kited by the Ashe right here. He does go in with the Prowler's Claw. Tons of damage from the MF, but it's not going to be enough right there because I'll take mid is able to get out of the fight right there. Caridian looking like he's going to go down, but the sleep, crucially, onto the MF, and the MF just going to go down. That is going to be the end of game one. What an incredible showing from it.
Oh yeah, super slow game at the start, but like they all performed excellently. Tactics missed a few hooks at the beginning, but the peel late game was insane. Same thing for Rick. He was peeling correctly. All their gold was on their damage dealers. They were doing exactly what they needed to. They were all performing amazingly well. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was absolutely crazy. That that game, it was going a couple directions, and then suddenly it just exploded. And I forget actually what that. I'm trying to remember what the fight was that like completely turned that.
Was it the one in front of Baron?
Well, yeah, that was really one of them. Yeah, God, if we can find ourselves a damage graph right here. So much gold onto, by the way, both of the carries. Yeah, ton of damage on Tailwhip. And if you're watching it, all of that damage was pretty much pumped into the Mundo. The Mundo doing his job, but like again, you don't have any of that big like CC focus control mage type of big magic damage. Like there's really not that many threats, and there's a thresh that can keep these bruisers off of him. Again, this is not the draft that Control and his team should be running. I think at this point that they probably should know that. I'm happy that they're maybe trying some stuff, but I want Control to go back and think about what's my win condition. Stop thinking so much about the enemy's win condition and start thinking about yours. How do you have to win? Don't worry about counter. Go and play simple League of Legends. I do think they're going to come back, and we're going to be going to a game 3 after this next game too. But that's my personal thought. Anything? You think it's going to be a 2-0? Okay, well, hey, you know what? That's the prediction. All right, folks, we're going to go to a really quick break. We will be back very shortly. It is 1-0 in favor of Int, and we're going to see if it's going to be a 2-game and out, or if we're going to a game 3 after this. Catch you all soon.
See ya.
All right. All right, folks, we are back. We've got oh, okay, he actually was.
Howdy,
I
y'all.
thought
Sorry.
yeah. All
I
right,
wasn't trying to offend
Matthias
you.
is back. We are live on stream. He didn't realize. I actually thought that was a towel over his head, so that shows how smart I am. Anyway, hello, folks. We are officially back for game 2 of Crowd Control versus Inting Toaster Inc. We had a great showing here from Inting Toasters Inc. off of the back of Tailwhip, who had an absolutely huge game. I must say, I still think the MVP of that game was the Thresh from Tactical Tactics. Some of those plays that he made were so incredibly smurf. I mean, he's kind of competing for best Thresh player in TCL. That's kind of my thoughts. Anyway, here with us once again is Matthias. We're going into game 2. How you doing, my man?
Looking good. I feeling good. That game was super impressive. Everyone on Inting Toasters played the way they needed to play. Like they all performed the rules. And I'll take mid was looking to prove that he's the top. And Caridian, I hear he has a hot date after this, so he's trying to get this series done. So he's looking for the 2-0. Then they're just looking to prove themselves as the best, as the new reformed best team with their new roster. They're coming for your position, Avon.
Nah, it's not going to happen. Again, this team is looking a lot better. But yeah, that's it's not going to freaking happen. Trust me.
All right, looks like we are into draft. So, we're definitely looking for something new out of crowd control. They need to swap up that draft somehow. They need to put control on a carry. They need Box to. They need to give some attention to Box, get him ahead if he's going to be their sole damage source. There just needs to be some change. I don't hate what Inting Toasters do. They could swap it up if they need to, but they performed well last game. I don't see any need for them to make a change. What do you think?
Again, I think the same opinion. The same opinion as always. I think we just need to see a control mage out of control. I don't know what else to say, and I think he's trying to pick certain things because they're playing AP top laners, which is Jaws' specialty. I just don't see why we can't have AP or AD out of bully, AD out of box, and then an AP mid and top.
For sure, for sure. Looks like the same bans are coming through as last game. Not really changing that up. I mean, you can't give Tail up Seraphine. It's his queen. Same first pick, same Thresh. I really hope the draft doesn't get ran back and crowd control is just like, nah, it was just a bad game. Our draft was fine.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks that. I don't think that there's any point in time where they're going to sit here and like feel like, yeah, that was the best draft we cut. There was an execution difference. And like, yeah, listen, if Bully would have done a better job ganking mid early on, and we would have flashed him with Renekton, gotten him fed, he wouldn't have died at that first gank. We might have seen something different. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not what we saw. And like, again, I don't think you should be playing team comps that rely on perfect execution. That's honestly what I believe at the end of it.
All
Like
right,
simple freaking League of Legends.
for sure, for sure. So, what is the chance that this Tristana goes mid? I know it's low, but it's feasible. I'm curious.
I mean, AI Box. AI Box is a Tristana player. He has played a ton of it. It is possible. Like Control has played it before. I would be a little bit disappointed. Like, yeah, I don't know. It is possible. I will say if AI Box, and I think there is something a little bit dank that they're going to be looking to do bot lane. There is a potential, again, as I said, non-standard. So there is a realm where Control does take it, but we'll see what happens here. I'm not entirely convinced by it.
And
That being said, it would play really, really well.
It is
Yes,
not Inting Toasters going one for
yes.
one on their old draft. The Lee Sin. I am not a fan of this champion, but Caridian loves it. And sometimes he shows up. I feel like it's a little bit hit or miss, because sometimes those cues go blind.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I do like the Diana pick away. I'm pretty sure that's going to reform Bully. Interesting though. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of AP. That's the only thing is that like if Control ends up going an AP champion, you've got a lot of AP, and again, you're going to need to trust AI Box to basically be the solo AD carry. But
I don't understand the Silas ban coming out of here. So that might be Control's Diana because he's a known Silas player. I would say Silas is his second best champion after LeBlanc. So for them to ban it away, that might be a mid lane Diana.
Control? No, Control doesn't play Silas. He plays a little bit of Silas, but that's like when I think of like if you were gonna ask anyone like, hey, who is the Silas player? It's I'll take mid. Like
Look,
Silas, Echo, Fizz, all that it's dumb. All those really annoying champions. If it's annoying, I'll take mid plays it.
I was watching Control do some Clash last night, and man, that
Does it?
Silas was impressive.
Okay. Well, you know what? I haven't often seen it. Maybe he was like he might have been picking it just knowing that he would have to pick it away. But I think at the end of the day, like I'm still not convinced that Control is picked as champion. Oh, it's the Heimer! Thank God he did it. All right, so this is what I thought they were going to be doing.
Is this
I
Heimer
am
top?
no, this is no. This is Heimer for AI box.
Oh, so it is Tristana mid then.
Yes, that is 100% going to be Trismid at this point.
Well,
Okay, so I was talking to him about this, and this was a little theory
glad I mentioned
crafting.
it.
Yeah, Cho'Gath from Microscopic Rick. That seems so. I will say this Heimer is looking really good. Like Heimer sets up the turrets. You can never gank the champion pretty much ever. Synergizes ridiculously well with a Mumu, where if a Mumu like, but pretty much all of his like, you can make a case that all of the Heimer ult abilities can be used with a Mumu. Like if you're trying to engage, a Mumu goes in, and then you follow it up with the grenade, and it's absolutely disgusting. Um, like if someone ganks you, you just drop the turret, a Mumu ults them, and the turret like insta kills everybody. There's some interesting ways that could be played.
I don't like Inting Toaster's comp. It's very tanky, but once again, tail up is your only damage source. It's a little scary because the Lee Sin's gonna be good early, but it's gonna fall off. And I'm giving the draft over to crowd control. You know, it's looking decent. They have decent mixed damage.
Oh, let's go! I love it. Jaws Aatrox. This is absolutely huge. He should eat up this Cho'Gath. The Galio is going to be feeling really silly playing into Controls Tristana, who invariably is going to be picking the Kraken Slayer. Really good team comp in terms of like damage. Yeah, I'm saying Crowd Control finally drafted a real comp for the first time in their life.
All right, Abram, I'm gonna have to cut you off real quick. Can we get someone into Wall One maybe for an interview in the Tcl server to give us your draft opinion? And also, can we set up some gambling for this match? You know, a little bit betting. I want to see how the audience thinks about how this is going. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it rolling. Is it pull? Actually, can Blood do it? Blood, can you do it? Yeah, if you could make that happen, Mr. Bloodbath and Beyond, that would make me. Oh, it's prediction.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it.
All right. Does anyone want to come in and talk about the draft? Please come into Wall One. But yeah, in the bottom lane we have. Oh, it looks like Droid has joined us. Can we pull him in real quick?
All right.
Hey, Droid, how you doing? What is your opinion on this draft?
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I got very concerned when I saw the first three bans from both sides, same first two picks. I was like, does crowd control really think that there was nothing wrong with their draft? They're just gonna try and run it back, or what's going on here?
For sure.
Glad to see they switched it up. I do like it better.
Yeah, I'm really curious how Jaws performs on this Aatrox.
I had a little peek at his match history. I know I've seen it there. I've seen him setting up some customs and practicing it. So I think he must feel that it's ready. So
well, it's definitely been practiced, and I will say, like, I'm so happy to see a non-standard bot lane. They're just not the better bot lane, and you have to admit that, and you have to try something, right? Throw them off, do something different. Don't just play the same game. AI Box's Heimerdinger, I actually like unironically think it's his best champion. Not even kidding when I say that.
Yeah,
Enjoy,
I mean, I would agree. AIBX, he's got a really good Heimer. I do think that he could have played a standard AD carry. I mean, sure, maybe they're outmatched in the 2v2, but he just needed something that wasn't Misfortune. And while he did pilot a good Misfortune, he did the most damage on his team. Like, there's no way for him to self-peel, and you saw multiple fights where Tiny Rick is 1v2ing and killing Misfortune. Like
Yes.
he needs something like a Zaya that can get away, or something with a dash. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, they've got some wombo. You know, you have Diana, you have a Mumu, you have Heimerdinger. You can kind of create a little bit of a mosh pit, and hopefully Aatrox wins his matchup, and Control can just start bouncing around with his resets.
Yeah,
This is-
I'm really hoping to see something from Jaws topside on this different pick. He's played the Gragas a bunch of times, and I don't know, it just didn't seem to go anywhere. Like I don't know what the goal was with that pick.
Yeah, I think the thing about Jaws is that he's never going to be the first person to engage, right? That's just the way. Like you'll never see him getting out in the middle of the team, flashing onto someone, throwing an ult to start a fight. He's a very reactive, passive player, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I do think it doesn't fit the style of something like Gragas, where like if you're always using your ult to push someone away that's just jumped on you, you've already kind of lost the fight, right? Like, and that's what we saw last game. We've seen a little bit of that. Aatrox is going to be a little bit different because it's something that's more of a lane bully and actually can create some real advantages. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be different, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. It looks like our game's about to start. Any closing thoughts, Drew?
No, I'm thinking we might be seeing a game 3 here though.
Okay, so you are thinking that it is going to be a crowd control win.
Call it hope.
All right, let's hope for some good League of Legends. Thank you for coming.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, that was Droid joining us on the analyst desk. Droid not entirely convinced from the comp here from the side of the Inting Toasters, thinking that we're going to get to a game 3, and I gotta say, I personally agree with him. What do you think, though?
I said I was going to be a 2-0. My faith is shaken. Look, I don't trust the Galio mid. I don't know how well that does into an AD. They don't have any magic damage. It's just, did he counterpick himself? Like they had to know once the.
I think he might have legitimately thought that the Heimer was coming mid, and I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe Control was like, "F this. I'm gonna have a good time." Like, he thought that he picked. He's like, "Hey, we'll make this fun," and then Control actually picked something that's just gonna eat that Galio. So I'm just speculating. I don't personally know how you could pick that into that.
Yeah, our production thinks it's gonna be a clean 2-0. So, varying opinions. I'm up on the fence. I think it could go either way. Like,
well, you gotta make the decision between us then. I said it's going to game 3. He says it's 2-0. What's your final call?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I put my points on crowd control.
Put your points on crowd control. All right, let's go. We're going to game 3, baby. I think the exact same thing. I'm gonna love to watch the spotlight. Oh, right here, the musical Jaws doing a great job of abusing the really, really bad level 1 of the Cho'Gath. The thing is when you're playing against the Cho'Gath, you have to do that every time that Q is off CD, because you see just how much he heals just by existing in this lane right here.
For sure. Man, I'm just not a fan of Lee Sin personally. It's personal bias, but.
But I love that Caridian played it though, because his Lee Sin is really clean.
His is exceptionally good, but there's just no damage. Like, it's really on tail whip, and it's really hard to make plays onto this Bobblehead's lane down bottom. Like you said, it's hard to gank. So how do you get tail whip ahead?
Interesting to see, by the way, and I think it probably actually is the best thing. The lethal tempo coming out from Control. Traditionally, you see the Hail of Blades because it means that you can get in and get that like really quick bomb stack. And once you hit that, then you immediately get to jump once again.
Right, but this time you're having to punch through a bunch of tanks. You're having to punch through a Lee Sin, a Thresh, a Galio, and a Cho'Gath. Like, sustained damage is what you want.
By the way, yes, that is in fact the spectator bug, that half armor. Oh, Caridian on the level 3 gank right here. He's looking for it. Ultimately, just not there in time. And he did walk through the ward, so Control didn't know he was there. Yeah. He's going to get spotted there.
Close early, slow game. I'm really hoping to see some more action early game out of this one. Last game, it was looking a little bit like an LCK game, no action until like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Caridian with the gank.
Yeah, Caridian with the gank, going to get here, and he's ultimately not going to hit the Q and be able to take this. The only thing I'll say is that musical Jaws right here The hook
Good
gonna come
hook.
through onto AI Box. A lot of damage right here, and he does not have the turrets in the right place. Rudy's gonna go on the counter engage. Turrets doing a little bit of damage, but ultimately not gonna be enough. And they're kind of playing this from the back foot. Oh, but Tail Whip is a little bit far forward. Gets caught in the middle of everything and almost equalized, honestly.
Yeah, well, it has equalized. I was gonna say the trade favors Tail Whip, but you know they brought it back. Rudy re-engaged and equalized the health.
Yeah, I will say if you're the Heimer, you don't want to be going down in terms of HP early.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, your goal your goal is really to be the bully, not be the one who gets bullied. That is for sure. Caridian looking like he wants a gank again onto control on the side here. Okay,
I mean, he has to make those ganks pay off. He has to play early. That's just what Lee Sin does. You're not going to be able to outfarm a Diana. You're not going to be able to outfarm the AP jungler. So he's got to start connecting these Qs.
Yeah, on the top side right here, I gotta say, it's unfortunate. You don't want a position where you're the one who's getting pushed into the Aatrox this early in the game against the Cho'Gath, and this is kind of exactly the problem of what can happen. You win an early trade, but you forget the one problem, which is that he gets to heal a ton, way more than the Aatrox does, because the Aatrox only gets to heal on champions at this point. Right. So unfortunately, he's getting pushed in. Oh,
yeah, just some standard poking.
Oh, Rudy!
Rudy
goes forward. He gets hooked. Not entirely under tower, but he does take a lot of damage. He goes way too far. AI Box with a ton of damage. Yeah, Caridian is onto the two flashes come out from the bot lane, but he's going to find Rudy with all of the damage, and that's going to be first blood. Are they going to be able to find AI Box? And he does.
Great hook!
Smurfing the man. Tactical tactics with another great Thresh play, and Rudy just honestly threw that away. I feel really bad for A-Box right there. Rudy queued a Q that he should not have queued, jumped into the middle pretty much under tower, and everything was just chaos after then.
I mean, I was going to say last game, I think mid was the MVP, but your case of tactics is really showing, you know? He's performing tonight.
Oh, yeah, he totally is. He's, I mean, you watch like some of the plays he's been making, it's unbelievable. Right, and again, it's quiet when you're a support player, but all of these hooks have just been so perfect.
Yeah,
I
think it's what you were saying at the beginning of the night. You know, he might have had a little cold hands, but he's found his groove. He's hitting the skill shots now. Like, you know, early lane he missed a few, but now this game and last game they have been impressive as of late. He's found the groove.
He is, and you can see the consistency. Is he hits every single one that matters. That's the important thing. Right? And so it's not about being flashy. It's not about whatever. It's about hitting those hooks at those key, crucial, let's call it the critical positions of the match. And he's hitting them every single time. And that's why they're winning these fights.
Yeah, looking off to show up with a Hex Splash. There's some posturing around Dragon. Looks like Team Crowd Control is going to go for it. But I think Caridian is aware.
Yeah, he is aware right here. The towers, the turrets rather from AI Box are set up. They're not going to be able to stay on this though. A little bit of pokes on his tactics. Yeah, he does have Prio right here, and unfortunately the Tristana just can't be incredibly useful. Without that Hail of Blades build, she's not as strong in these early levels right here. Okay, tactical tactics. Reform Bully does go in. The hook is going to go onto Rudy, but Rudy is probably the best person that could have been hit by this. Caridian getting kind of tanked low by the Dragon right off the side there, but unfortunately,
looks like
everyone's just been poked out. Yeah, everyone's going to have to pull off, and they're just going to have to give it.
Well, good counter take from Hinting Toasters, you know? They weren't the ones to start it, but they were the ones to get it. I do have to note, though, the significant farm leads for Crowd Control. Most members 20 CS up, both mid and jungle.
In Musical Jaws, by the way, right there in that top lane, popping the ult, able to actually get Tiny Rick to have to run away, and he gets priority at this point, which
probably
is
get some plates. Hopefully, he's still at full health. You know, maybe pick up 1-2 plates. Oh, it looks like there's the TP out of Microscopic Rick, so both down TPs. Yeah,
both down TPs. I will say this bot lane AI Box able to actually stay up in. Oh yeah, let's fight the top lane. Able to stay up and farm. Which is really nice to see after that death. That was a really crucial gank from Caridian. You do expect the Lee Sin to get ahead early on in the game, as we've seen. And so the question is AI Box, like, was that a fluke? Are they going to be able to still own this lane like you expect a Heimer lane to be able to? Or are they going to run into more problems right here? Musical Jaws wanting to stay in on Microscopic Rick.
Good trade, good trade. Comes out on the lead. Let's see. Looks like Bully is currently taking Herald.
Yeah, it sure seems to be. Musical Jaws, I think there's an angle. If he can hit the correct W, there's definitely an angle for a solo Q here. Solo kill, rather.
You have to be
most
careful, though.
notably.
Korean's in the neighborhood, and he might... Does he just miss Bully right here?
Oh, he does miss Bully, but he does go on to Musical Jaws, who didn't see anything. The flash comes through the kick. Fantastic kick, but is it going to be with enough time for the Diana to be able to finish it? She does. Herald acquired, and we can just say that Mr. Jaws died for the Herald.
Yeah,
that's an okay trade.
I'm kind of glad that not all the gold is going on to Viridian. Like, he can carry it, but Lee Sin, you know, he's going to fall off a little bit. Like, I really want to see this gold going elsewhere.
Yeah, I do too. Again, I don't know who's going to have to do the damage at the end of the game. I think no matter what is going to happen... Oh, we have an enchanted crystal arrow on its way up. Long ranged. Looks like it's not going to hit anyone. It misses everything completely.
Looks like there might have been an engaged bottom lane after all. Open up. And also a fight
so,
top.
Yeah, fight top. Reform Bully getting kind of caught out right here. Caridian with a lot of damage. Most notably, the ult is not back up, so he has no juice to follow this. There was a fight bot lane. Rudy does go in, and he finds Tail Whip, but he does get killed on the way out. Ultimately pretty good. I really would have liked to see that go on to AI box. But if we can go back up to the top lane right here to see what's going on, Mr. Caridian.
Still a little bit scrappy. But I believe what happened bottom was, I believe there was a good bandage wrap from Rudy to get onto Tail Whip, I think. And then they were able to just clean it up, but took a tower shot, as you saw.
Yeah, unfortunately, between him getting that kill and then him dying, it's not as good as I really wish it could be. This Heimer just needs to start getting strong, needs to get that Leandries. Luckily, basically, the Galio, the Thresh, and the Cho'Gath all going to have a ton of trouble into the Leandries from AI box. He just has to get there first.
Let's see. There's still a maintained CS gap in the jungle and mid lane from crowd control, with control stealing away, you know, Raptors, making good plays. There's a fight.
Caridian, enchanted crystal arrow, complete whiff. Terrible whiff. Oh, there was a kick right there. There still is. Oh, when he goes and he gets the flash, he both gets the knock up out of the Mumu and gets AI box back. This man is an absolute smurf.
Gorgeous kick. That was beautiful. All right, I take it back. You know, Caridian's Lee Sin, it's got some moves. It's got some moves. I thought he was just going to get the Mumu with the kick, you know, just take it, but he gets both for his team. Gorgeous play.
And the only thing I will say is that Caridian really looking like a major upgrade from the terrible human being, the Spartan Tunic, as we've discussed. Really looking like two completely different players.
Probably not anything off of it, but you know, tactics showing he can hit them. You know, striking the fear of God into them.
He can. And this Lee Sin, obviously, he's going to make a lot of plays at the beginning of the game. The question is he going to be able to turn that into good team fighting and really measured play? And once again, the team comp doesn't have a whole lot of damage, and so it's going to have to basically come from picks.
I do have to say, though, they're only down 1.4k gold because of the CS gaps. Like, they have a dragon, but they're up 5 kills. And that's like 1,000 gold in Equate is not what I would expect from them, you know?
No, I definitely agree with that. It totally isn't. And again, if you're Caridian, you have to push the tempo on that. If there's anything... Oh, the Diana got caught in the vision, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to notice that. I think that he thinks that he was off. He's probably going to sit in this bush here looking for some kind of cheese, but yeah, yep, Diana unfortunately gets caught in that vision. Yep, and they're gonna, they know, they know. Yeah, they're even going for the hook at that point.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yep.
And I mean, you have Ash Cockshot to see these types of things too. If you just want to, you know, double check, see where he is, but you know, wasting his time is good. Oh, missed bandage on Rudy.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted that, but hey, you know what? They're going to get a little bit of gold. Most notably, AI box is going to stay out of range. See, I hate this.
Do you need someone to take local gold from this? Like, it's all going to Bully right here.
This is the same problem they did last time, is they're not being strategic about the way they do this. Bully's only looking for advantages for himself, which is really unfortunate. And because of that, AI box isn't able to cash in on any of that.
Good. Oh. Kick?
Yep. Oh, we had a kick mid lane. Sorry, missed that right there. Yeah,
Caridian just killing everyone. The only person he hasn't collected an assist or kill on is Reformed Bully.
Yeah, that is true. the man is just absolutely going crazy. These are incredible plays. That is Control's first death, only death so far. But that's the thing, is eventually you do not die enough times where the fact that there's a lack of scaling doesn't really make a difference. Jaws feeling like he's pressured right here to actually make some plays with how the rest of this game is going. But again, I still think the Heimer is going to turn into something. I'm just really disappointed in the way that this lane is actually playing out for them.
For sure. You know, I don't actually hate Bully picking up the gold for his team. If he performs well, like he performed on that Vola bear, he can actually carry on Diana, you know? Like, that is a champion. You can win games off of the back of. So, you know, getting the gold is understandable. Looks like we're getting a dragon take, just non-contested from Caridian. So, and let's see what type of soul we're getting.
Most notably, as you pointed out a little while ago, the gold difference is actually way less than you'd expect. Is a very, very, very small gold difference.
That would be Ocean, I believe.
On the soul?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be Ocean Soul. You are correct. This is still a game, 100%. I think Control, if I know how this team plays, they're probably feeling like they're kind of down and out. Gold lead's really close, and you've got Heimer and Trist, which are going to like hyperscale into infinity. So I actually think this is fine. You just have to understand that you're not losing, and you have to keep playing and not get tilted.
For sure. You see that you're 7-1 and they have 2 Drakes, but like you're not looking at those farm leads probably. You're probably feeling pressured to make some sort of play happen when they really don't need to.
Caridian the top side, a beautiful rupture there right from the Cho'Gath. Caridian is in. It looks like there's going to be some type of ultimate ability. Meanwhile, though, Jaws does pop the ult, and there's a counter game. Reform Bully's going to be able to find both of them. Oh, but he gets kicked out. A beautiful kick from Caridian to get out of that. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes and makes sure, but Bully does end up finding 2. The ult is going to come through for Rudy, but is it going to be enough right here? Reform Bully going really low. A lot of people really low. The Amumu's going to go down. Tristana is now, and 2 are going to go down, and they find 2. Caridian absolutely smurfing the play. Yeah, 2 for 2, and it should have gone a lot worse. This man, Caridian, is just going absolutely insane. Finds 2 kills before he finally goes down at the end of it.
Can I get a word on who it was that picked up Caridian the shutdown right there? Because he handed over, I believe, a sizable shutdown.
Yeah, let me look at it. Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. He's, Aatrox. All right, so the musical Jaws is going to be the one to pick up on that.
I mean, you really don't hate anyone that it goes on to, as long as it's not, you know, the Amumu. But maybe he can use that to pressure and a lead top lane. You know, they got the top, they've gotten that tower. First tower of the game, by the way. So, you know, they're picking up a decent amount of advantage, and they're really equalizing this gold lead. With, arguably, I want to say the better scaling comp. Like, there is a cause for worries for the Inting Toasters after that.
Yeah, there really is. I am really, really, really happy to see that he's going to be able to make some type of difference. I hope he can turn that into something. Oh, great dodge right there. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the Death Hook coming down onto Rudy, and he just gets caught out of vision. You can't be there, my man, and unfortunately, Rudy's showing the cracks right now. I think he's getting a little bit tilted.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you see that score, and you do get tilted. Let's see. A little bit of a scrap up top.
Yeah, I think Musical Jaws wants this. I think you got to find a way. So one of the things you want to do with Aatrox is you want to time that W. Oh, the ult's going to come down. He is going to try the fight right here. Yeah, and unable to... Yeah, unfortunately, the slows are going to be too high. But well, there isn't a tower. There isn't a tower. So if he's able to find these Qs...
And there's nobody from Inting Toasters to back him up. If that connects, I think you get the kill there.
Yeah.
You know? His team's coming.
Meanwhile, bot lane, AI box in the bot lane with a ton of damage. He does get hooked. He does get hooked. He is still alive. Caridian gonna die. Goes a little bit too far into it. AI box with a beautiful stopwatch to save himself. Almost gets tail whip under. And this bot lane is back in the game. Oh, man.
Caridian handing over another shutdown. I believe it was the Amumu that got it, though. A little unfortunate. But double Rift Heralds for Bully, and, you know, he's just pressuring this, getting towers for his team.
Yeah, Control's going to be able to hit this one down. I think they found the moment. Right here, top lane is far enough ahead. Unfortunately, one of the things you have to learn how to do as Aatrox is when you hit that W, you have to time it with your Qs so that the knockups from the Q are part of the CC that prevents them from leaving that W. Jaws was not able to do that, and because of that, ultimately the Cho'Gath was able to run away.
But the gold lead is now here for crowd control. You know, they're up. It's not a huge lead, but they're up 400. And when when you were down about 2,000 earlier, it's something you're really happy to see.
Caridian, I don't know, man.
On the hunt. Respect
Box.
Flash. Respect Flash.
Yeah, I think Box actually wins that. I'm not gonna lie. I think he doesn't. Part of it is he doesn't know who's down there, but yeah, I think Box actually just wins that.
He did have ult. I don't know. I don't hate the Flash. Respect it. Dragon's about to come up. It's better to be alive, than 50-50 that.
This fighting top lane is dank, but yeah, unfortunately, Jaw's not able to find the sweet spots, and Tiny Rick has just a big fat Cho'Gath. He's actually looking pretty good.
I'm really actually hoping to see a fight here over this dragon, because as said, Crowd Control, they've been winning fights. They're showing up. They can win a fight at this dragon, They have the gold.
Oh, I totally agree. They can, and I think they should. AI Box at this point has to get there relatively early, start setting up those towers. At that point, if they get dove into, it's not going to go well for Int. It's going to go, I would say, in fact, very poorly. But unfortunately, AI Box is just like, there's people in between him and the rest of his team.
So looks like Musical Jaws is just walking down instead of burning teleport. And it looks like the Cho'Gath is also already there.
Well, he still has the choice. I actually really approve of that, because he has the choice if he needs to get there a little bit earlier, but he's saving it just in case, because there was really no benefit to him teleporting there early. AI Box, again, has to get there. AI Box is going to be a little bit late. He is coming around the side of a Tactical Tactician. All right, so the Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. Rudy is zoning off Tail Whip very properly. Lots of damage from the Heimerdinger coming out. Tactics going down. Reform Bully getting a kill. Caridian on the backside. Caridian versus Control on the top side. So much damage. Is Control able to find it? Control finds it. Huge damage. This is actually winning for Crowd Control, but they have to find these last two people. This is very close. It's on the knife's edge. Musical Jaws is trying to go forward, and ultimately they're going to take the dragon.
He's doing so much AoE.
Fantastic play. Control on the backside. Musical Jaws going absolutely crazy, doing exactly what Aatrox has to do on the front. That's probably the best play we've seen from him. Great team fight, and that's exactly what we had to see out of Control right there.
Yeah. As I'm saying, they can win team fights now. They're getting that confidence back. They're fighting when they need to fight. And I didn't really see how Caridian went down in that fight. I saw everything else, but he kind of just disappeared for me.
Yeah, so I don't know if the camera was on it. I'm watching from a more zoomed out. So basically, Tristana had to jump over the blue buff wall way topside, and Caridian tried to go in on him. Most crucially, though, the Tristana had not used ult yet, and so the moment Caridian queued over the wall and went onto the Tristana used the Buster Shot, got him out, and got the kill on the very last auto. Actually, as Caridian was like ward hopping away. So,
gorgeous then.
Yeah, it was really, really, really key. If Caridian had lost, or rather, if Control had lost that, it would have looked like a completely different fight.
Yeah.
Oh, great! Look, tons of damage right here. AI Box able to find the grenade. The Tail Whip, but it's just not going to be enough. Reform Bully gets as much damage as he can onto him. But yeah, it's not going to be it. I really would have liked to see Tail Whip go down right there, but unfortunately, just with the two of them, they're not able to find it.
Well, I see how you're rooting, but we're starting to see the issue though. Like, Team Inting Toasters just doesn't have damage. They had multiple. Yeah. They had more members right there, and they couldn't finish the kill right there.
Well, that's the thing, is eventually people start grouping up, and eventually Caridian isn't able to find the crazy plays. So, like, when that doesn't happen, I don't really understand what else you have.
And these Enchanted Crystal Arrows, like, they're hitting point blank, but there's been quite a few that, have they hit, this game might be looking a little different.
100%, but we are seeing Caridian topside. Jaws sniffs it out. I don't even think he had any vision on that, so that was just good awareness by Jaws. Not getting caught out by that gank up there.
For sure. Baron is now on the table. Let's see. Also, like we said, the standing gold for Inting Toasters.
Oh, right here, Control jumps in. He looks, yeah, okay, the Buster Shot's going to come out. Caridian is trying to chase this.
Good sidestep.
Control, does not get hit with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
So many sidesteps.
God, Control's an absolute beast. I actually think Caridian probably had a chance to stay on that with some type of ward hop, but yeah, ultimately, whew.
Yeah. Dodges the arrow, dodges the... Is it Resonating Strike
yes.
from Lisa? Yeah. Oh, looks like there's a play down bottom.
AI box getting gone on right here. Caridian is down there with him. He is going to run away. He's going to need to stand in the middle of these turrets. He's doing the right thing. Oh, beautiful stopwatch. A lot of damage coming through. He's going to have to stick in the middle of this, though. It's the only way that he can win this. Caridian on one side, I'll take mid on another side. A game of League of Legends chicken is happening right here,
He's
folks.
buying his team
Lots of
time,
damage.
though.
He's
They
buying
know where
so much
Caridian
time.
is.
It's not going to be everything, but the Baron, meanwhile, is going down on the top side, and they're going to find the Baron for all of that. A fantastic play. Yes, they do get him, but at what cost? Microscopic Rick now in the middle, taking so much damage. Control able to completely one-shot the Cho'Gath after all of that. I'm going to say a huge play. Great job to AI Box making the best of that situation. And they go and they find that Baron.
He bought so much time with the stopwatch, with his turrets. Like, he did what he needed to. He lived for a very long time. And, you know, they left the Antic Toasters in a numbers disadvantage because they had committed 2 bottom, so it was a 3v4 at Baron. And, you know, they're finally able to pick up some of that standing gold to help equalize it, but now you're into a Baron. Let's see if Crowd Control can push out these waves and maybe look for this next dragon.
Oh man, that was so much patience from both the Galio and the Lee Sin, and unfortunately they were a little too patient because they sat there grading for the kill, and it meant they lost that Baron. Great awareness from Team Crowd Control. I think in the past we've not seen them communicate that well and move that much, and I think this game they're just kind of saying, you know what, all out. It's time for us to find ourselves a win. We're tired of losing. That's kind of what happens.
It's great to see that cross map awareness. Oh, we see their jungler bot, we go to Baron, and you know, sometimes that doesn't work out. And you know, you pull some people, but sometimes he committed so much time down there. It really was just the freest Baron.
It is Caridian now chasing the musical jaws while the rest of his team is mid. I almost want to see Rudy just to jump in and drop a Q onto Tailwhip. Tailwhip most notably does have his cleanse up, so it's not going to be as simple as one may think. But
burning it before Dragon would be good.
Yeah, well, in hopefully Crowd Control realizes they have a pretty significant advantage. Yes, they're down 5 kills, but they were winning the objective battle. They've got towers and they've got gold from all kinds of other things, including a massive CS gap in the mid lane where a lot of that's taking place. Control's huge, and he does want to carry this for his team. Now we're just going to have to see it, but the dragon has been started up. Lee Sin coming over the side. He's going to try to go for a steal right here. They do have the Cho'Gath. They make Enchanted Crystal Aerial. The Cho'Gath's actually going to be the one to find it, but he's not going to have ult for the fight. A huge ult from the Diana, just pulling everybody in. All of the damage. Crowd Control is just going absolutely freaking ham on this. Musical Jaws goes over the wall. Rudy not able to find it. Big play back on Tailwhip. Is Tailwhip able to kite this out? Musical Jaws actually not able to get Tailwhip going huge. Who's going to get the final kill right there? And Tailwhip stays alive. That looks a lot different right there. It is just Tailwhip. Everyone else has died.
Control's on the hunt.
Wants it. He is on the hunt. It's going to be a little bit more time before the rocket jump comes out. His team is pushing mid. Control wants to find it, but it's just going to be a DPS off, and I'm going to tell you, Tristana wins that every time. Ultimately, great play by
Especially when she's 2
Control.
levels up.
Yeah, 100%. Still, great play by Crowd Control. Wasn't as clean as it needed to be, but it doesn't matter. They just got a huge advantage off of that play.
I'm a little sad to lose the dragon there, you know, but with that team fight win, it doesn't sting that badly.
No, it doesn't. And I got to give that one Reformed Bully finding just a
gorgeous format.
Crazy moonfall on that in the middle of 4 people. I believe Bloodbath and Beyond in chat calls out that he actually interrupted a Galio, which is totally crazy. And yeah, at that point you see the Heimer who does Heimerdinger damage things with the turret, and then you see the Tristana who's sitting in the back line able to just DPS completely untouched, and yeah, that's kind of what happens when that happens.
And once again, we're seeing the draft issue with the Ending Toasters. They can't win team fights because they don't do any damage. Like, Caleb can win his 1v1 against the Aatrox, but Ash is not going to shred through 5 members.
No, not at all.
Tell you.
Interestingly, it looks like we're getting is that going to be a demonic embrace, or is that going to be a Rylai's coming from the Heimerdinger? What do you think? Rylai's like Giant's Belt builds in the Rylai's, right? Because I know it builds into demonic embrace, but I actually forget.
Yeah, it goes into both. I'd actually prefer the Rylai's because you have the Diana and you have the Tristana. Like, just make them stay more grouped up for the Diana, you know? Like, slow them down. I really don't hate Rylai's here.
Well, I think you'll find once it gets to these late game team fights, like the damage from a champion like Heimerdinger is just absolutely so stupid. It's like way more. It's kind of like Swain, right? Like a Swain stands in the middle of the fight, and like yeah, it doesn't visibly look like he's one-shotting everyone, and then you come out of the fight and he's done like double the damage of anybody. Like Heimer has a bit of that effect, and I think I could see why he would want to continue stacking.
And there's the Rylai's for
some of that damage over time. Okay, oh, he does go Rylai's. Well, there you go. You got what you wanted. Are you happy?
Oh yeah. I had an eyes moment and almost thought that Fimbulwinter on Microscopic Rick was a Thornmail and he was pulling a Bully moment, but luckily not.
Oh, yeah. I would have loved to see this. Oh, reform Bully running into the middle of 5 people. Oh, perfectly dodges that resonating strike. That could have been pretty dangerous, I must say.
So, as I'm going to say about the Lee Sin pick, it did good early, but my concerns about it, I think, are well-founded. It got a lot of kills, and then it immediately...
Right here, a hook comes through onto Rudy. He does have to use the... Oh, a massive 5-man Diana all here from Reform Bully, but are they going to have the damage to follow it up? There are no tanks. The Aatrox is a little bit late to the fight. He finds the 5-man, but is it going to be enough? Caridian is a little bit far forward. Now AI Box needing to do a lot of damage. Microscopic Rick flashes over the wall, and he finds a chomp onto the...
Control getting resets,
onto
though.
Rudy. Yeah, Control is getting reset. I still think this is fightable. AI Box does a lot of damage at this point, and he's going to be able to burn him down. One more. Control able to find it. The reset is now going to come through. Now Tactical Tactics is trying to run away from this, but the Musical Jaw is able to find it. Now another reset. Tail Whip. This is huge. An incredible play. All of the damage.
And
AI Box
and base is up.
Oh man, AI Box and Control played so well there together. AI Box puts all the damage onto the Cho'Gath, just enough where Control can finish it and start the chain of the reset jumps as they're running in a way. An incredible play from both AI Box and Control.
Yeah, I really don't hate this change up in their draft, you know? Having Control on an AD champion and having Box on a mage. Control is showing that he can play the Sproshtana, he can get the resets, he can assassinate who he needs to assassinate.
Yeah, he sure is. And I was going to say, if you're going to play, or if you're going to have some type of AD carry on your team, again, I love the Tristana mid. I play it all the time. It's actually what part of my team was named after, because we thought we were going to be playing it every single time. And again, AI Box on the Heimer, I've wanted him to pick it all season. It's kind of what he's known for. And he's finally doing this over the wall. Caridian wanted to go for it. The flash is going to get one person over the wall, but Musical Jaws is still chasing him, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow will actually save him. Oh, now Jaws is actually suspicious.
He's fine.
He's good. Yeah, you're
right.
But,
yeah, Soul, it was Soul Point, but, you know, they picked up the last 2. They're doing what they need to do. Well, actually, did they pick up the last 2? I think one of them got stolen, but, you know, they're getting dragons. They have inhibs, you know, they can probably start looking at Baron.
Yeah, and most notably Control. Oh, interesting buy from Control. I actually really don't like that.
Did he pick up was it the Rapid Fire or the...
He Rapid Fire, but he already has the Phantom Dancer. I think at this point you need armor penetration. That's just my... I mean, you need armor penetration or potentially lifesteal. I would say both of those things have to make it into your final build. Well,
yeah,
listen,
I don't hate
happens.
the LDR, because you're punching through Azanias, you're punching through Ninja Tabbies, you're punching through another pair of Ninja Tabbies, punching through the Gauntlet, you're punching through Death's Dance. That is, you know, that's a significant amount.
Yeah, well, like at some point, like it's not that you get... Yeah, you don't get entirely diminishing returns from the attack speed, but again, I just like... When you're talking about what is needed right now, armor penetration is needed. Right now, you're really trusting the Heimer to be the only one who can actually cut through this tanks at this point. But you know what? I guess we'll see what happens. Luckily, at this point, I'll take mid isn't tanky enough for it to matter.
Yeah. All right. You know, small amount of Baron posturing. Let's see. Are they going to pull the trigger?
Well, I'd like to see it. At this point, you have to get them to come to you. That's
Control is just so strong. Like, I feel like you could just start it, make them have a fight, and pull off of it, and I think you win.
Well, the scary thing is that if you have a Thresh like this, like one hook goes the wrong way and it's just game over, right? And I think that's the kind of things that you start thinking about this situation. Rudy, a little bit caught out, does have to flash over the wall. Unfortunately, he's just getting caught left and right. It's causing some pain for his team right here. But the team is able to get back and find priority on this Baron, and that's really important. At this point, you have to posture. You have to realize you're ahead. The Ashe is back at the base. It's time to start the Baron, my brethren. It's time to go. You got to force them to come to you.
Control is level 18. I believe he is the highest level in the game.
He is. Baron coming through. They are going to be able to get it. Rudy to go too. He is going to want to get the ult. Curse the Sad Mummy onto 2 people, but it's not really the people that want. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes onto Box, but actually Box gets kicked to safety, or rather Control. Sorry about that. Control gets kicked to safety. That wasn't exactly what they wanted. Maybe there was a play to be made. That wasn't it. I think that if you're Control right now, you're doing the smart thing. Just get out, play another day, and run it up mid with this.
And they get away scot-free. And these super minions are going to be hitting your Nexus turrets. You know, they're going to take some chip damage.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. The Heimer ult was up. I think I mean, God knows I would have stayed. Knowing that you had a super minion wave under the enemy tower, you just kind of want to keep them there and not commit super hard. But at the end of the day, you can't blame someone for playing the smart, or the safe move, rather.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You got all 5 out. You get to regroup. You get to buy items. We don't know necessarily how much they were sitting on. You know, I respect it. You get the Baron, you get out, clean escape. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you have the lead of the game. Don't throw it.
Well, and just interestingly, about a 5.5k gold lead just in the mid lane. Almost the entire gold lead is completely within the mid lane. Just very little gold right here coming out from the Galio. Oh, right here, Control. Oh, he's going to kind of fail his rocket jump, too. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through. He's going to try to buy a little bit of time. Ultimately, not close enough for a flash. Yeah, fail rocket jump, fail flash, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The team's going to run away because they're afraid of getting pincered on. But I think that there's a play to be made right here. There's 2 people. They don't realize it. A beautiful Diana Moonfall right in the middle. 2 people. They are going to get 2. Kiridian's just in the middle of everything. Now AI Box, or rather the musical Jaws, wants to find his way through. Microscopic Rick, you're on the wrong side of town, buddy. What are you doing over here? I think he's going to get burnt down. Yeah, the Leandres. Musical
they don't
Jaws
even need Control. They're winning without him.
Yeah, they're winning without him. I mean, you knew who was down there. I got to ask. The Thresh and Kiridian running down, I don't understand the logic behind that, but you know what? I got to give props to Rudy going in, understanding that they had the man advantage in taking what they had in front of them.
But, like, I mean, you got the pick under Control, but then you still end up losing a fight with 3 people down. Like,
well, right? Yeah, they saw that there were 3 people grouped. Wait, Jaws just popped his ult.
Does it give you attack speed?
No, gives you AD.
You know, to pick tower a little faster.
Yeah, sometimes you pop ult to get a couple tower hits. Oh man, I love that. Yeah, Anti-Flash says Jaws popping that ult like bottles in the club. Totally agree.
Control got killed, gave a 700 gold shutdown, and still has a 500 gold shutdown. That's just how astronomically far ahead he is.
And it's funny because you're looking at Mr. I'll take mid, who I think he's the one who got that shutdown.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's still 4,000 gold down. He was 3-1. Like, you look at it and you're like, wow, this guy's, he's having a fine game, but unfortunately, it's just what you get out of Galio. Galio, a really, really weird pick from him. I don't know what they were trying to do. I think the thought is that basically Kiridian's going to jump in the middle of the team, Galio's going to ult, and that's how they want to take the fights. It just hasn't worked out that well since the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Looks like Control is meeting your wishes. He's starting to pick up that armor pen. A little late, but he's doing fine. Let's see. Armor pen or magic pen out of the Heimer. What do you think that needlessly large rod is going into? Is that like a death cap or a shadow flame?
Oh, it's going to be a death cap for sure. 100%. He needs to finish this build up with a death cap, because if he wants to be the one who's basically dropping the turret in these end game fights and just having the turret kill absolutely everybody, at some point you need to finish off with that death cap. For sure, that's what he's doing. But we have this siege in the mid lane. Interestingly, I just don't know if they're going to be able to make progress. At some point, oh, Rudy's going to go through. Okay, he does. The kick is going to go away. The kick is notably down. Reform Bully, unfortunately, uses the Moonfall and only gets one person. The musical Jaws in the front line. He's trying to get a little damage onto everybody right here. But Tactical Tactician jumps in the middle of everyone. Control doing so much damage, but will it be enough? And Knockup comes through. And Control, his whole team dies in front of him. He's just going to have to run away. Unfortunately,
Guardian, do you want this?
Yeah, a really, 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 really scuffed fight. Everything just went wrong. Reform Bully only gets one person on the Diana Moonfall. Like, AI Box goes down relatively early in the fight. Tactical Tactician hits a huge hook. I actually think that's why he died. Yeah, this isn't what you want to see.
Oh,
and yeah, they're gonna run this down mid, and things are gonna get a little bit scary right
They're getting
now.
objective bounties. They're getting back in the game. The one concern though is, you didn't pick up control. That's the hugest bounty. Like, that's the one you really want to get.
Hold on. They might be going for the finish right here.
We
They're not
have
gonna.
6 seconds on Bully. I don't think you can go for that. But,
I think you could have. I don't know. I think you could have.
I mean, it's scary. You go for those towers. Bully goes in. He gets an ult on you guys, pulls you all in, and then control just turns it up. You can't risk that. You just got back into the game. Better to not 50-50 it.
Yeah, I guess so. Everything went wrong. Unfortunately, Jaws goes forward and he pops the ult, but he doesn't actually go onto any of the carries. I think he was just bashing the Galio, and unfortunately, when you bash the Galio, that doesn't kill who actually needs to die. We need to see Jaws. Oh, but Tiny Rick. Yeah, Tiny Rick, you can't be there, my brethren. Get a little bit too far forward. Yeah, he's going to get the tower, but I think there's got to be enough damage. Ultimately, the Moonfall popped right there from the Diana. Oh, Musical Jaws, the bottom. Yeah, okay. This isn't as simple as we might have thought. Musical Jaws does get poked out pretty low. Yeah, it's a 5v4. But there's still I mean, it's not like the Cho'Gath was the most important part of that fight. Let's just say it that way. Rudy trying to zone the bot lane here off of this fight. And they're hugged. Oh, here's a potential steal. The steal comes through. Caridian with an absolutely huge play. The smite does not happen right there for Reform.
Get out, Toasters.
Caridian over the wall right here. Tactical Tactician.
Tactics looking like he's sacking just to get everyone out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily
I don't think he had to, but...
No, yeah, but...
Wait, there's a game!
There's a lot of chance. Oh, wait, Caridian is going in. Caridian goes over the wall. Everyone forgot he existed right here. AI Box has to
was buying time.
Yeah, completely buying time. Meanwhile, in the fight in the mid lane, oh, these guys are just getting absolutely killed. Totally shredded. The team had to completely go back and forth on this. Control does want Caridian, but unfortunately, this is a 2 versus 5, and it's not looking like they're going to be able to hold it. This is going to be the hero play. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes forward, hits AI Box in the middle of it. There will not be a Zhonya's Control. One man versus the world isn't going to be it. He is going to do a ton of damage, but it's not going to be quite enough to get I'll take mid. Just not enough damage. Caridian trying to finish the game. Not even worried about him. Damage coming through right here from Control, but it's just not going to be enough, and that's going to be the end of the game in the series off of a ridiculous play from Caridian. Yeah. Oh my god.
What a gorgeous steal! I mean,
oh my god!
I want to give it to Caridian for those steals. I want to give it to Tactics for those hooks. He bought a lot of time right there, and I want to give it to Taylor because he was shredding. He was being that sole source of damage. Man, that's hard to make a decision.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Gorgeous
comeback. Crazy. That was crazy. Caridian. I mean,
look, Caridian's got that hot date. He's got to go on. He's like, I got to end this here.
So here's the thing, and this is a big thing in sports when you talk about the MVP. We can sit here and discuss MVP and talk about, some smash hooks and whatever. Caridian just won the game.
Caridian can, in fact, not do the interview because he is going on a hot date. So we're going to have to pick between Tailwhip or Tactics.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, unfortunately, with Caridian gone, he is the MVP. Tailwhip played really well. He had a lot of really, really good kiting moments, and he kept those fights alive. And I think he did exactly what he had to do. When I look at that bot lane, though, I cannot possibly, especially watching game 1, not call out the fact that was all frickin' Tactics. That guy was smurfing. Some of those hooks, the plays during the couple times where he caught people under tower, and he remember when he blocked the Amumu bandage at the start of game 1? That was absolutely crazy. He found some crucial hooks. in the middle of that fight, and they ended up losing it, but they would have lost it way harder. Where he got the misfortune, he got the AI box at the end of that fight in base. Like, to me, this guy has to be the MVP. But I don't know. What do you think?
Fun giving into tactics. Also, is this one of the longer games in this season of TCL? 41 minutes. And also, look at that gold grab. Wow, what a swing.
Man, that was back and forth. All right, well, we're gonna give it to tactics. We're gonna pull him in here.
How you doing,
Hello,
Tactics?
Mr. Tactical Tactician. How are you doing?
Hi, doing well. Thank you.
Tactics, we watched some of the most incredible Thresh play that we've seen this season, especially at the beginning of game one. After that play bot lane where you blocked the Amumu bandage, were you and Tailwhip just freaking out after that? That was pretty dang cool.
Well, I mean, it's just a team effort, right? Our entire team's working really well together. We're moving on the map. If my team's not enabling me to make these plays, then I don't know what else is going on. Then they're the real carries around here. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
There you
you're,
go.
you're giving Swiss a run for his money, title of best Thresh. And also, I gotta say, like, I like that the fact that you and Taylor stayed consistent. You're like, we won the first game. Our lane did what it needed to. We're not going to swap up our draft. And you stuck to your gut. You stuck to your gumption. You stuck to your roots. Like, I'm happy to see it. They gave you your champion.
yeah. It's just worked out this series where Thresh is just a really good pick for us, and the Ash Thresh worked really well to hold the lane down so that we can unlock Cradian to do what Cradian does.
Right. Did you have side selection game too?
That is correct. Yeah, we selected blue side game 2.
Okay. And were you given blue side game 1 as well? So you just got to
Yes.
first pick the Thresh. Nice, nice.
Well, I do got to say, your team, the middle of some of the bigger controversy that's happened in TCL in recent seasons, most notably with the leaving of your captain. And I bet at the time everyone was kind of thinking, well, okay, where's the season going? Clearly not anywhere well. And yet you've been able to turn it into 2 wins afterwards. Talk me through going through that process and what it's been like afterwards.
Well, we don't do much thinking. It's just my entire job is I follow Cradian, I follow Tailwhip, I follow mid, and then hopefully that leads us to the enemy nexus, right?
Oh, you're looking great. Did you know that if you win your next match this week and Abarn loses his, you guys can be in the running for second place in the circle of suck.
I did not, but
You
that
can you
is
can
good
make
to
the
know.
run back. Looking good. You guys have a real standing to go for playoffs, and like this turnaround of the team, I'm super happy to see your reformed team just picking up wins, picking up 2-0s. Like I'm really happy to see where you guys go from here. Do you think you can take the TCL title this year?
We'll do our best to give everyone a run for their money.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
That's good. All right, Tactical Tactician joining us here. A fantastic play. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the win. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you have a good rest of your night, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Have a good
thanks
one,
for
y'all.
casting.
Of course, it was a fun match to cast. That's for sure. All right,
Lots
have
of
a good one.
strikes.
All right, folks, that's going to be it. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you to Matthias. Thank you to Sword, both of you for joining me on the caster desk for tonight. This was so much fun to be a part of. Just so you all remember, and most of you have probably seen from TCL announcements, this is TCL Super Week. We have a game today, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going ham, baby. In that 8-day span, there are 7 matches, including the last 2 being the ones that are the start of playoffs. This is going to be so exciting. Yeah, get ready for some of the most incredible TCL that you've seen since the beginning of all of this. And we're going in this week, and a lot of things are going to come. The chickens are going to come to roost after this week is over. So, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Any final words before we jump off?
Can the Titans of Abarn and TJ be taken down? Will we see the fall of the Kigs?
Can't happen.
Stay tuned this week. We'll find out.
Can't happen. All right. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.